I noticed that our president, Donald Trump, recently talked about eggs and groceries. And so I kind of interpreted that as a signal or a sign that now is my time to talk about groceries and eggs because, gosh darn it, the president is talking about it, so I should talk about it too. So I'm going to talk about, that's why I'm talking about eggs.
And I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word. The groceries, when you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. And I went on groceries.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Vasquez here, coming to you live. And today I'm going to talk about eggs. I've actually wanted to talk about eggs for a long time because one of the things I've noticed, depending on what country you're in or what market even that you shop at, you can find a huge difference in the color of the eggs. And I guess it's just something that's impressed me for a couple of years. When I relocated in 2013 from Portland, Oregon to Bogota, Colombia, I noticed that the eggs were like a really vibrant orange color, almost red, almost like orange leaning towards red, whereas yolks in the United States are usually yellow leaning towards white. So I'll show you a few pictures of eggs. And the eggs in Spain, because I lived in Spain for a few years, eggs in Spain were pretty orange. But I find that in my experience, and I've taken a few photos of eggs from Colombia, they're actually like orange, like I said before, like leaning towards red. So it's just a striking difference. The chickens are the same. And obviously it's based on feed. So, in the United States, most of the corn and soy, first of all, I think most of it's genetically modified, which also means therefore that it's sprayed with overdoses of glyphosate. So when you look at a market chicken, for example, in the United States, it's usually kind of pale or white, whereas if you look at a chicken in Spain or Colombia, they're usually, bright yellow. And that's because of the difference in the food. If you feed a chicken genetically modified corn and soy, then obviously you're getting a protein and carbohydrate source that doesn't have a lot of phytochemicals. Whereas if you look at chickens in Spain and Colombia and presumably other countries, they're usually fed on pasture and insects and whatever else. And so the eggs have a really vibrant orange color, and the meat is certainly yellow from all the carotenoids and beta carotene and other things like that, lutein, etc. So the reason I'm finally talking about this, even though I've wanted to talk about it for a while, even though I realize it's a rather minor topic in the world of nutrition, I think it has some importance. Apparently I'm getting visited by a bee or a big fly. If you hear that buzzing in the background, that's what it is. Again, what I noticed, traveling and living internationally is that American eggs and American chickens tend to be very white and pale. Whereas in other countries, the chicken is yellow because of all the carotenoids, and the eggs are orange, almost leaning towards red, which I just find remarkable. Every time I look at an egg abroad and then compare that with an egg like in the United States, the difference is just glaring. So I wanted to kind of share that with you. But as I started to say before I got distracted by this bug that's buzzing behind me, I noticed that our president, Donald Trump, recently talked about eggs and groceries. And so I kind of interpreted that as a signal or a sign that now is my time to talk about groceries and eggs because, gosh darn it, the president is talking about it, so I should talk about it too. So I'm going to talk about, that's why I'm talking about eggs.
And I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word. The groceries, when you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. And I went on groceries. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot.
I've seen a few cases. Sorry if I'm getting buzzed over here. Yeah, it's just a fly. He happens to be interrupting my recording. I've seen a few people talk about the idea of being allergic to eggs, and then it turned out that they were just allergic to corn and soy. And then when they switched from eggs that had been raised on corn and soy to pasture-raised or insect-raised chickens, then they didn't have so-called egg allergy anymore. So I thought that was interesting. I've seen a few reports, and I'll put these just very briefly into the video, assuming I can record this video with this fly buzzing under my desk. I've seen a few reports talking about the glyphosate content of eggs. Again, like I said before, and sorry if this bothers some of you, but it's just the truth. Apparently, a lot of the corn and soy in the United States is genetically modified, therefore it's sprayed with glyphosate, because that's the whole purpose of genetic modification. And then, of course, the chicken and the eggs have glyphosate in them. So if you think about it, you can kind of connect the dots. If you're looking at chickens that are yellow, and if you're looking at eggs that are at least orange, then it's pasture-raised, which includes insects, of course, because chickens are actually omnivores. They're not vegetarians. So if you look at the color of the eggs and the chicken meat and the chicken flesh, then you can tell what it was raised on, and therefore most likely doesn't have so many allergens and pesticides in it. In contrast, if you're looking at chicken that's pale and eggs that are pale, it was probably raised on corn and soy, which in the United States means it was probably raised on corn and soy that were genetically modified and therefore sprayed with pesticides, especially glyphosate. And so you would expect to see some glyphosate residues in those foods as well. So anyway, maybe you can connect the ideas like I just did. That's kind of what I think about when I look at the color of eggs and chicken. So I hope you're all doing well. I'll get these video clips and some scientific references to back it up on the site. I noticed, again, in that quick clip from President Trump, he was talking about how he reduced, apparently he thought the price of eggs had gone up 200%, and then he says he lowered it by 97% or something like that.
Costs are way down. Groceries are where they have a term, grocery. It's an old term, but it means basically what you're buying, food. It's a pretty accurate term, but it's an old-fashioned sound. But groceries are down, costs are down, eggs are down. They were, first week they were hitting me with eggs were up 200%, and now they're down to a number that is amazing. We're down 97, 98% from where they were. And everybody, they said, you won't have eggs for Easter. Well, we had everybody had eggs for Easter at a very reasonable price. At the White House, we had our little Easter egg roll, and we had hundreds of thousands of eggs purchased. They said, you have to go out and buy plastic eggs. That didn't work out.
So I actually looked up the price of eggs in the United States over the last year and a half or half a year or whatever. And apparently the price of eggs is actually higher now than it was last year. Actually pretty close to double the price. So apparently Trump thinks that he's reduced the price by 50%, but it's actually increased by 200% over where they were 6 months ago. So I'll show you that graph in the video. Hope you're all doing well. And remember, eggs are healthy food, even though they, of course, have cholesterol. But they have a lot of other good things in it, as long as you're buying healthy eggs. So try to buy pasture-raised eggs, because that gives a chance for those chickens to eat not only grasses, but also insects and little snakes and worms and all that kind of stuff. So again, chickens are omnivores. They're not vegetarians. So if they're raised on soy and corn, then obviously they're not getting the nutrition that they expect. Hope you're all doing well. Talk to you soon. Bye.
And I went on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word, the groceries. When you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. And I went on groceries.
But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot.